Yo, my name's Evsuma, and today I'm going to be talking to you about design of add-ons in Dead by Daylight. What should an add-on look like? I have this man on screen right here because I think he exemplifies a big problem with add-on design in Dead by Daylight as of right now. So if we go into the add-on section right here, we can see if we let's just look at the green add-ons. So we have Burning Man painting, which increases range of his secondary attack by 1.5 meters. We have Mannequin Foot, which increases the duration of trails left. We have Misty Day, which increases duration of Killer Instinct. Tablet of the Oppressor, which increases the maximum duration of Rites of Judgment. And then Voltile Sect Photograph, which decreases the time required to recharge the Rites of Judgment. So what I'm getting at here is that most add-ons in the game are direct buff add-ons. That's what I like to call them, which basically just means that they increase the numbers on one of the killer's stats without changing or taking anything away from the killer. And this can be exemplified in, like, I can name this stat in most killers. So for Billy, it's movement speed. For Blight, it's movement speed. For Pyramid Head, right here, the Executioner, it's range. I would rather use range than not only any of these other green add-ons, but I would rather use range than all of his better ones. And so the main issue is that these kinds of add-ons can be compared to each other, and a best one can be chosen. So you can see in my build over here that I'm using the Wax Doll. And if we look at the Wax Doll, it increases the range of Punishment of the Damned, which is the same stat as the Burning Man painting. Increasing the range that I can use my secondary attack is so much better than any of these other effects that I would rather use the green one and the uncommon one instead of the green one and another green add-on. And remember, this is while considering all of the ultra rare and very rare. I still would rather use a rare and an uncommon add-on. This causes weaker killers to be reliant on their best add-on, because why would you ever use anything else? And that leads to a lot of confusion in the community and in the devs alike. So lots of killers running the same add-on, or the same two add-on, gives survivors and developers the impression that it may be OP, when it's really not, and in reality, those killers feel forced to use those add-ons, or else their favorite character is not viable. So, how do we fix this problem? In my opinion, that is transformative add-ons, and that is an add-on that changes the way the killer works in some way or other. It would aggressively buff a certain stat while taking away something else. And there are a few good examples of transformative add-ons in the game. They're definitely harder to design for the devs, but it would create multiple viable playstyles on the same killer. So you could play a killer and spec into a certain playstyle, or you could play a killer and explore all the different wonderful ways that they can work. Let's go over a couple examples of transformative add-ons. So on the Hillbilly, we have the low pro chains are a good example of a transformative add-on, which allow him to continue the chainsaw sprint after breaking a pallet with it. However, it gives him like a speed limiter, sort of only one health state if you hit someone through a pallet. And it's great because if you got an insta down through the pallet, it would be way too strong. Low pro chains would be OP. But with this change, it completely not revolutionizes, but it changes how you can play pallets with the Hillbilly. You don't have to either either like bait the pallet and then break it with your normal spacebar, or charge up beforehand and just break only god pallets, but you actually have a chance of getting a hit through a pallet if you charge a chainsaw at the right time, which is fantastic. And the other example is the tuned carburetor, which makes Billy a 110% movement speed killer, or 4.4 meters per second. But his chainsaw's charge speed is increased massively, and a lot of the older, longer standing members of the Dead by Daylight community will remember that Billy used to have many problematic add-ons in the green, yellow, and even brown tiers, where that would allow him to charge his chainsaw much faster. So bringing back this aggressive buff to such an integral statistic, like back in the day, Billy's most important statistic was definitely chainsaw charge speed. It was not movement speed. So bringing this back in the tuned carburetor and having this give and take where you get better charge speed but you move slower, and that makes it much more important that you get value out of your chainsaw sprint rather than only using it for mobility and then chasing as an M1 killer, is a very cool, and it changes his playstyle completely. The drawbacks don't have to be stuff that already exists or boring things like decreases base movement speed, but they can create new mechanics as drawbacks. For example, I was thinking about something that I could describe for this video, and I believe Nemesis over here could have a very interesting transformative add-on where he starts with his tentacle at tier 2 or tier 3, but it regresses as you proceed in the match without getting tentacle hits. So if you keep getting tentacle hits, if you do well in the match, the add-on rewards you by letting you keep your tier 3. But if you don't get hits and the survivors do very well against you, then your add-on regresses and you need to charge it up again by hitting survivors and zombies. I think that's a great idea of a transformative add-on that allows Nemesis players to play completely differently, but still be their same favorite killer from Resident Evil. So, do I think direct buff add-ons should be removed from the game entirely? No. I don't think it's possible for the devs to design 2 ultra rares, 4 purples, 5 greens, 5 yellows, and 4 brown add-ons and make them all change the way the killer works in a meaningful way. I don't think that's possible. What I do think is possible is that red and, or some people call it pink, but ultra rare and very rare, and in some cases rare add-ons be transformative and interesting rather than aggressive direct buffs to stats that may just make killers reliant on that add-on. So I think uncommon and common should be reserved for direct buffs to stats that are not the most important stat for the killer. I think things like the hillbillies. The hillbilly has chainsaw sprint turn rate add-ons, which are fun for getting snipes across the map. Or he has decreases recovery time after hitting an object with the chainsaw. I think these are good stats that could be used for the yellow and brown rarities. The Huntress also currently has a yellow add-on, the Shiny Pin, that increases her movement speed while holding a hatchet. This is another good example. Or even like the Thrown Hatchet Speed add-ons. These could be brown and uncommon as direct buffs, because they're not... I don't think they're going to completely change how strong the killer is. They're just something that could supplement a transformative add-on, perhaps, and make a different kind of build for the killer. So, what's the exception here? I think there's one exception, and that's recharge add-ons. Most killers, as of right now, have some recharge add-on, or in the case with killers like Huntress or Clown that have throwable powers, it's the extra hatchets, extra bottles, extra knives for trickster, stuff like that. So why do I think these should stay? I think they should stay because when you're learning a killer, you need to be able to use their power as much as you can. When I was learning Wesker, the mastermind, I was incredibly frustrated because the only add-on that would let me use his power more often was the leather gloves, which thank God they were here, because Wesker's recharge time is long enough that I would be forced to use my knife to attack instead of my alternate, which I wanted to practice with, because I kept being on cooldown. I didn't know what I could do. So recharge add-ons to help new players learn and to give experienced players that don't want to use really strong stuff something and just want to be the base kit killer something to work with. So that's all. What do you guys think about this topic? Let me know if you have any examples of new transformative add-ons, or if you think direct buffs are fine and they should stay, and give me some examples of how behavior could change certain killers' add-on sets to make it more balanced. I would love to hear your guys' opinion, and as always, I'll talk to you guys later.